Am I actually in the screen?
Yep, you're right in the bullseye middle. And it's recording. I don't like it.
Why?
Because you're not smiling or anything.
Well, I'm not ready to shoot yet. Hey everyone, FG here again. This was not a video that was planned on being shot this week or actually anytime soon. I was actually planning on waiting till either later this year or maybe early next year to go ahead and remove the OE factory rear differential cover and clean it up, paint it, put everything back together, and put in some fresh gear lube. However, if you've watched if you watched episode 1 of the differential cover install, I mentioned at the end that I did have some leakage issues. Well, it looked like everything was good, and I went ahead and left a piece of cardboard underneath the truck, and a couple of days later I went back and found out that the differential was peeing on my driveway. So unfortunately, that accelerated all the timeline, and I had to take the armor cover back off again. So this is differential cover video part 2, where I show what I did as far as taking the cover off, cleaning it up, working with a little bit of sandpaper, some wire brush, etc., and then went ahead and put coats of paint onto the cover to make it look a lot nicer. I think it cleaned up very well. But as I mentioned, this wasn't planned on happening soon, but what they say about the plans of mice and men, all right? I don't know if mice really plan that much, but it seems like men do, and often our plans end up going awry. So without further ado, here it is. This is differential cover part 2. There was not expected to be a part 2, but the truck had other thoughts than what I did. So this one is titled, "Oh Snap, My Differential Cover is Leaking." In part 1, I installed the ShrockWorks differential armor cover and discovered that, as a couple of other people had noted, when they got their bolts out, even though the website says that removal of the cover and draining is not necessary, you're probably going to find out you're going to get a leak. So at that point, the truck was sitting in the driveway for a couple of days, and I happened to notice underneath that directly under the diff cover was a small puddle, and it was smelly and blue, which is the color of Motul 75-140 gear lube. So obviously that didn't work out so great. So here we are with the Permatex Optimum Black high flexibility forma gasket maker, and I've got the diff cover here all cleaned up. So you can see I've worked around the edges and gotten the existing gasket material off. I went ahead and painted it while I had everything apart. I had some leftover paint, which is a dark, like a gunmetal metallic, which I thought would probably look pretty nice against the red armor plate. And so I went ahead and painted. That is a primer and paint in one. So I cleaned everything off with brake clean real good. Hit a couple spots with some sandpaper and a little bit of wire brushing and things like that to clean it up to hopefully promote adhesion. And after I had cleaned that, I went ahead, I put 2 layers of just black, which was also a paint and primer in one. And after laying that on, I laid on 2 coats of the gray metallic and went ahead and baked that again at 175 degrees for just about an hour to get a nice baked on finish. Hopefully it'll be a little more durable. So back to the inside here, you can see that I've actually went ahead and wiped everything down on the interior. It's very nice and clean now. It's, you know, not super shiny because I didn't wire brush it or anything, but it is clean. All the gear lube is off and everything. And as I had noted, I'm cleaning up around the holes here. Got a little bit more. I think I might go back and hit it a few times. You want to be very careful at this end. See, here is your fill plug, and anything below this level is going to be submerged in gear lube when you put everything back together. So that's where your critical sealing area is. So you want to be sure, if you're going to check anything at all, make sure that you check the bottom half. The top half is just splash, so that's really not going to have any pressure at all and really isn't going to make a whole lot of difference. But you want to definitely be sure that the bottom is sealed well. And as you can see here, it's kind of curious. Inboard of this little punch mark is clean, which means this is inside of the differential case, and when I was cleaning off the RTV, this is where it was located, right around here. So that's where I'm going to reapply my bead after I finish checking to make sure that I didn't leave any old RTV behind. You can see out here it's rusty, which obviously says that this part of the edge has a little bit of a gap between that and the differential housing itself, and so some corrosion was able to form there. So I'm going to put my RTV bead along here on the inside of this little shelf, and then it also says to make sure to run it around the holes. Now, a couple things that the website had noted that people do wrong. First of all, putting too much. You don't want to put too much. It said between 1/8 and 1/4 inch bead is good, so I went ahead and I cut the tip that came with it. Actually, they gave me 2 tips with this one. It's kind of nice because they figure that not everybody uses the entire tube in one shot, and sometimes the residue dries up inside of the nozzle and can be a real pain in the neck. So they actually supply 2 of them in each package. It's really nice of them. So like I said, I went ahead and cut this at about a 3/16. So it's going to be right between that 1/8 and 1/4 desirable size. I'm just going to go ahead and lay that bead right along here and put that together. So as I was saying, one thing that people tend to do that they had noted don't is to put too much. Another thing that they noted is not to think that you have to let it sit around until it's what's called skinning over, or it starts to actually chemically change and approach its dried state. Most of these types of gaskets require pressure and the absence of air to actually start the process. So it's actually worse for them if you let them sit than it is to go ahead and assemble them. So the website says to take the unit and immediately after getting your proper bead and verifying that you didn't miss any spots, go ahead and reinstall it. Now, the next thing that they noted that people do wrong is not to go ahead and immediately go to your final torque. You want to do finger tight so that the RTV squeezes some and it gets into all the little tiny crevices, even the ones that are kind of probably microscopic, and fills all the holes and gets the proper crush pressure. Then let it sit for an hour before coming back and retorquing all the fasteners to whatever the factory specification is, which I'm going to have to go look up. I think it's probably somewhere 20 to 30 foot-pounds, but it may not even be that much. I'm going to go check that, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm going to go ahead and get this assembled, and that will start the drying time. So those are the things to watch for. The manufacturer of the glue, they should know best. They said do not put the unit back into service in under 24 hours so it can achieve full bond strength before you start applying any liquid, which of course is going to try its best to immediately escape. And that's certainly what you don't want, because I was already in that pickle. So that got me to where I am today filming this video. So the next thing you'll see is the cover all put back together and hand tightened. Catch you in a few minutes. Hi there everyone. Alright, so we're back and we're just about done here. Actually, well, no, we are done here. I just need to put the tools away actually. So here's the Valvoline 75-140 gear lube that I refilled the differential with. And the Valvoline is almost clear, and it's kind of interesting that it doesn't really seem to have much of a color at all, whereas the Motul was a medium blue color and definitely had a lot more odor. The Valvoline is almost odorless, honestly, which I thought was kind of interesting. given the smell that the other stuff made, which actually in a way could be helpful, because if it does have a smell and you do have a leak, you'll actually probably notice it a little more. But anyway, let's go ahead and cut over, and go ahead and show you underneath the truck again for a moment, and we're going to wrap this project up. We'll call it a day. Right, so here we are back underneath. And the lighting's probably not super great, but hopefully you can see the color that I've now added to the metal casing, which obviously in the earlier video, in the earlier photos you saw, was pretty rusty looking. That was 93,000 and change original miles of beating on whatever the factory finish was. So as I mentioned in the first half of the video, I took and painted this with a gunmetal metallic, and then baked it for 175 degrees for an hour, and then waited, brought it out, and so now this has been sitting for an entire day, and so I made sure that it had time for the RTV to properly cure, which is the recommendation from Permatex. They say do not go ahead and be in too much of a rush to try to put your machinery back in service unless you really, really need to. And we actually have 3 vehicles currently, although my children are going to be taking one of them very, very soon. So the other one, of course, is my wife's daily driver. And so here's my drip pan, where I caught all the old oil which had come out, and if you see a little bit dripping from the bottom there, that's not actually a leak, that's just the overflow, because the proper recommendation to refill one of these is that you refill it until it starts to leak out of the fill hole a little bit, and at that point you are done. And so go ahead and get a shot of the fill hole there. There's the original fill cap, and I went ahead and painted that as well. I did not use any sealer when putting this back in again. I didn't the first time around, and really had no trouble with it because the fluid level honestly is below the level of the plug, and the plug is actually tapered, so as you drive it in, it actually forms its own seal. So not being a item that's under any type of pressure like an engine oil pump or anything like that, and the fact that the fluid level typically runs below the level of the plug, there's really no stress on it, so I can't see that there's any way that any liquid's really going to migrate out of there. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and the plug torque spec, if anybody wants to use their torque wrench, is 20 foot-pounds, 20, and the specification on the cover bolts is 31 foot-pounds. And that concludes this project, and I'm just going to go ahead and clean up that dripping a little bit, and we're going to call it a day. Catch you next time on Frontier Geek.